As the unseen force emerged as the dominant presence in the space, it took everyone by surprise. The office hummed with the vibrant energy of the early morning rush, yet Evelyn slipped in through the side door unnoticed, her cleaning cart gliding along with her characteristic steady rhythm. Clad in her dark green uniform-like armor, she maintained a serene and unremarkable expression, revealing none of the feelings she had meticulously concealed. To the executives, she was overlooked, merely the one who tidied up, the individual who meticulously cleaned their workspace, cleared out their waste bins, and from time to time shared courteous nods with the select few who recognized her presence. For years, the scene at Hawthorne and Beck had remained unchanged, a bustling enterprise nestled in the vibrant core of Dallas, Texas. Evelyn, now in her mid-50s, had become accustomed to the monotony and the condescending glances. She caught snippets of the humor they shared, unaware of her attentive ears, revealing how her existence was often regarded as a burden. Last week, someone had quietly remarked as she patiently stood by, waiting for the meeting to conclude so she could tidy up the conference room. Yet, Evelyn remained unresponsive. She simply did not. She focused intently, her hands unwavering as she toiled away. She understood the importance of withholding her response, refusing to grant them the pleasure of seeing her react. Unbeknownst to everyone in that office, Evelyn harbored a secret, a revelation so potent it could upend the whole structure. However, Evelyn was not one to act on a whim. She had faith in the power of patience, in the art of observation, in the virtue of waiting. Today, as she walked through the brightly lit hallways, her composed exterior concealed the truth that she was approaching her limit. The morning began just like any other. Evelyn meticulously polished the glass doors, ensuring they gleamed with clarity, vacuumed the plush carpet in the lobby with precision, and deftly organized the chaotic desks of those who seemed oblivious to the mess they left behind. She toiled with unwavering focus, even as discussions of significant agreements and advancements swirled around her. However, one particular conversation piqued her interest. She had no intention of listening in. It simply wasn't in her character. Yet, the voices were so loud that they demanded her attention. One executive mentioned that the shareholders' meeting is scheduled for next week. His tone was self-satisfied, teetering on the edge of conceit. There's truly no cause for concern. The board is enamored with the figures, and the CEO remains beyond reproach. Challenging him would be an unthinkable endeavor for anyone with a sound mind. Evelyn hesitated briefly, her fingers tightening around the handle of her cart. She possessed knowledge that eluded them. Little did they know the extent of their misconceptions. Yet, Evelyn swiftly moved past her thoughts. There remained tasks ahead, and she needed to prepare for what lay in wait. Hawthorne and Beck took great pride in its polished, contemporary aesthetic. The headquarters, a striking glass edifice in the heart of Dallas, frequently graced the pages of business magazines, epitomizing corporate achievement. Yet, within those walls, the truth was anything but glamorous. The atmosphere was unforgiving, and the higher you ascended, the more indifferent you appeared to those beneath you. Evelyn had devoted almost 10 years to those corridors, silently watching. She observed that the accolades were awarded to those who shouted the loudest, rather than to the most capable individuals. She observed the hushed transactions hidden from view, the manner in which individuals concealed their errors by shifting responsibility onto the vulnerable, those unable to speak for themselves. And then there was the CEO, Alan Greaves, a figure who radiated both command and hubris in equal parts. Alan was the type of leader who instilled respect by evoking fear. His voice resonated in meetings, his incisive remarks quieting even the most audacious executives. For him, success reigned supreme, and individuals were merely instruments to be utilized. Evelyn frequently caught his biting comments regarding employees who failed to conform to the expected image. Evelyn had once caught a glimpse of Alan remarking, "She's still here," in reference to one of the older secretaries. "What is the reason we haven't moved on from her yet? She isn't contributing anything of worth." It was more than merely the remarks. The organization was plagued by questionable practices that were conveniently ignored. While the leadership team reveled in record-breaking profits, Bonuses for the lower-level staff were discreetly reduced. Evelyn became aware of exaggerated expense reports, dubious client interactions, and the discreet termination of a whistleblower who had the courage to voice concerns. The cleaning staff, including Evelyn, endured the weight of the culture. She had witnessed her colleagues reduced to tears after receiving reprimands for a mere speck of dust left behind. She had observed their salaries remain unchanged, despite the growing demands of their tasks. And, naturally, there was the ongoing disregard for their humanity. The manner in which individuals evaded eye contact, condescended in their speech, or regarded them as mere fixtures in the room. A single incident remained etched in Evelyn's mind. A young intern inadvertently spilled coffee on the marble floor close to Alan's office. The intern stood still, visibly shaken, as Alan approached from around the corner. "Is this a joke?" Alan lost his composure. His gaze flicked toward Evelyn, who had just passed with her mop and bucket in tow. "Clean this up!" He snapped at her as though she were to blame. Not a single word escaped her lips. There was no necessity for her to do so. The intern expressed his regrets earnestly, yet Alan brushed him aside with a casual wave of his hand. To him, individuals such as Evelyn and the intern were merely a faint murmur in the background. These moments accumulated over the years, each one resembling a stone contributing to an ever-growing mountain. Evelyn's patience was remarkable, yet she felt the burden of it all. She sensed the sharp pang of disregard, the weariness of remaining unseen. Yet Evelyn had never been the kind to fall apart. She allowed those moments to strengthen her determination, carefully preserving them like ammunition for the time she would require them. The silence enveloping her may have gone unnoticed by those nearby, yet it conveyed a profound message. Evelyn was perpetually observant, perpetually attentive. As she observed more, it became increasingly clear to her that the company's achievements were built on a foundation that sacrificed its very essence of humanity. However, Evelyn was doing more than merely jotting down notes. She was meticulously crafting her strategy, and before long, everything would begin to align perfectly. For years, Evelyn had held her secret close, not from fear, but with a calculated purpose. She was more than a mere cleaning lady. She held the title of the largest shareholder in Hawthorne and Beck, a position she came into following the unforeseen death of her late husband, Martin. Martin had been a reserved backer in the company's formative period, gathering shares when skepticism surrounded its promise. At the moment of his passing, those shares had transformed into a controlling interest. Initially, Evelyn found herself at a loss regarding how to navigate this unforeseen ability. She didn't fit the mold of a corporate strategist or a frequent presence in boardrooms. Evelyn was simply herself, a woman who had nurtured 2 children, navigated the hurdles of life, and discovered comfort in her daily rituals. As she persisted in her understated efforts within the organization, she gradually came to appreciate the significance of her role. The cloak of invisibility provided her with a distinct edge. She had the ability to watch discreetly, hear without drawing attention, and gather all the insights she required about those who believed they were in charge of the organization. It was during a seemingly ordinary evening shift that the pivotal moment arrived, tipping her into a new reality. Evelyn had just completed her task of cleaning the executive lounge when she caught the sound of 2 senior managers sharing laughter over their drinks. They engaged in conversation about layoffs, making light of how effortlessly one could eliminate excess without any concern from others. One of them chuckled, remarking on how some of these individuals behave as if their roles hold significance. They fail to understand just how easily they can be replaced. Evelyn remained motionless behind the door, her fingers tightly clutching the cleaning cloth. These were more than mere figures on a spreadsheet. These were genuine individuals, each with their own families, responsibilities, and aspirations. To these men, they were merely disposable resources. That evening, Evelyn found herself at her modest kitchen table, a cup of tea in hand and a notepad before her. She began to put her thoughts on paper, uncertain of the destination, yet aware that remaining quiet was no longer an option. She detailed the unethical practices she had observed, the individuals who had faced mistreatment, and the moments that had lingered in her memory throughout the years. As dawn broke, she had crafted a strategy that would transform everything. Her initial move was to explore further. Evelyn leveraged her access to the building to collect information that would often go unnoticed by others. She absorbed the nuances of conversations, meticulously tracked schedules, and subtly observed the papers left unattended on desks. She wasn't taking or prying. She was meticulously piecing together the elements, crafting a vivid image of the company's inner dynamics. The next move involved summoning additional support. Evelyn maintained a circle of trusted confidants beyond the confines of the company. Friends who were well-versed in law, financial analysis, and former employees who had parted ways under less than favorable circumstances. She imparted her knowledge and sought their counsel. Gradually, they assisted her in developing a plan that would reveal the detrimental culture while also ensuring the company's sustainability. The last step proved to be the most challenging. Evelyn understood that facing the CEO and the board would demand more than mere proof. It would demand bravery, poise, and a profound conviction in her own value. She rehearsed her speech in front of the mirror, her voice unwavering yet assertive. She understood that this extended beyond her own experience. It centered on those who had faced dismissal, underestimation, or been regarded as inferior. The shareholders' meeting loomed just days ahead, and Evelyn felt prepared. She was stepping into that room with a purpose beyond mere cleaning. She entered with the weight of the company's future resting firmly in her grasp. As the day drew near, Evelyn felt an undeniable heaviness about the decision she was about to make. It was more than merely a clash. A moment of truth had arrived. The day of the shareholders' meeting dawned, infused with a palpable sense of assurance that filled the entire building. Executives paraded through the hallways, their conversations brimming with enthusiasm about yet another year of unprecedented profits. None of them observed Evelyn maneuvering her cleaning cart toward the top-floor conference room, her expression serene and inscrutable as ever. The boardroom stood in sharp relief against the backdrop of the rest of the office. The elongated, polished table shimmered beneath the gentle glow of the lighting, while the expansive windows stretched from floor to ceiling, framing a stunning view of the Dallas skyline. Seated around the table were the most influential individuals of the company, with Alan Greaves positioned at the forefront, his demeanor authoritative and his smirk radiating confidence. Evelyn slipped in silently, as was her custom, setting a pitcher of water down on the side table. No one paid her any attention. To them, she was merely a fixture in the scenery. Yet this time Evelyn chose to stay. "Excuse me," she said, her voice slicing through the atmosphere with precision. Heads turned, a mix of confusion and annoyance in the air. Alan offered her a fleeting glance. "We're in the middle of something," he stated, his tone dismissive. "I understand," Evelyn responded, her voice unwavering yet assertive. "That's precisely why I've come." Alan reclined in his chair, a patronizing grin unfolding on his lips. "If you're not here to tidy up our mess, I recommend you exit." Evelyn remained unfazed. She advanced, retrieving a folder from her cart and setting it on the table. The emblem of Hawthorne and Beck was prominently displayed on the cover, accompanied by the title, Shareholders Report. A hush enveloped the room. Alan's smirk wavered as Evelyn started to speak. "For years, I've observed this company flourish on the efforts of those you choose to ignore," she stated, her voice steady. "I have observed the mistreatment of employees, the crossing of ethical boundaries, and the prioritization of profits over human dignity. And I've remained silent until this moment." Whispers spread like wildfire around the table. One of the board members leaned in, narrowing their eyes at the folder. "What is this?" "This," Evelyn declared, as she unveiled the folder, "is undeniable evidence. Evidence of the unethical practices, the mismanagement, and the blatant disregard for the individuals who keep this company thriving." Echoed through the room as Alan's voice resonated powerfully. "Who do you think you are, barging in here and throwing around accusations? You're just a cleaning lady." Evelyn held his glare with a composure that rattled the atmosphere. "No, Mr. Greaves. As the majority shareholder of Hawthorne and Beck, I must inform you that today, I am terminating your employment." The words hung in the air, sending a wave of disbelief through the room. Alan's complexion drained of color, his assured facade disintegrating as the implications settled in. "You must be kidding," he remarked, his voice quivering just a bit. Evelyn remained unflinching. "No, Mr. Greaves. I'm not." She directed her piercing gaze at the board members. "I've dedicated years to collecting proof, and it's all compiled here. The exaggerated expense reports, the immoral layoffs, the harassment allegations you've concealed. I possess the authority to remove him, and I'm exercising it." The atmosphere ignited in turmoil. Alan attempted to present his case, his voice escalating with urgency, but the board members swiftly grasped the seriousness of the matter. One after another, they shifted their focus to Evelyn, posing inquiries, perusing the folder, and validating her assertions. The vote unfolded in no time. Evelyn had completed her research, and the proof she provided was indisputable. Alan Greaves was dismissed from his role that very afternoon, his objections ignored. As security led Alan out of the premises, Evelyn remained in the boardroom, her posture upright and her demeanor composed. The executives who had once overlooked her now regarded her with a blend of admiration and remorse. Yet, Evelyn sought no validation from them. Her focus was firmly on the future that awaited her. The announcement of Alan Greaves' departure rippled through the company with astonishing speed. By dawn, the office was alive with shock and conjecture. How could it be that the seemingly unremarkable cleaning lady, Evelyn, had held the majority stake all this time? Murmurs echoed in the break rooms and corridors. Yet, on this occasion, their demeanor was not one of dismissal. Instead, it was imbued with respect, admiration, and a hint of guilt. Evelyn, however, chose not to revel in the spotlight. She walked back into the office the following day, armed not with a mop and bucket, but with a clipboard and a strategy. Her mission extended beyond simply dismissing a toxic CEO. She was determined to reshape the company's destiny. In the weeks that followed, Evelyn dedicated herself to enacting meaningful changes. She began with those who had long been neglected. Raises were awarded to the cleaning staff and other undervalued workers. Evelyn ensured that the HR department treated harassment and discrimination complaints with the utmost seriousness, bringing in a third-party watchdog to guarantee transparency. She tackled the toxic culture that had thrived under Alan's leadership. The board, previously complicit in his actions, now faced accountability. Evelyn championed consistent training initiatives that emphasized ethics, inclusion, and the well-being of employees. For the first time in years, the team at Hawthorne and Beck felt acknowledged, listened to, and appreciated. Yet, Evelyn's efforts extended beyond this foundation. She organized town hall meetings, welcoming employees from all levels to express their experiences and ideas. She paid close attention, jotting down notes, and made sure that everyone had a say in crafting the company's future. One afternoon, while Evelyn was strolling through the office, a young intern, the same one who had spilled coffee near Alan's office months earlier, approached her. "Thank you," he said, his voice filled with genuine appreciation. "You've transformed this place." Evelyn responded with a warm smile. "No, we have transformed this space. United." Outside the building, the Dallas skyline sparkled in the late afternoon sun. Evelyn paused for a moment, gazing up at the towering glass structure she had once entered without a second glance. It had been a long journey, but she had achieved what many deemed impossible. This was more than merely dismissing a CEO or revealing corruption. It was about demonstrating that even those who feel unseen possess the ability to effect significant change. Evelyn had shown that resilience, patience, and integrity could prevail against arrogance and greed. She inhaled deeply, experiencing a tranquility that had eluded her for years. Then she stepped forward, not to disappear into obscurity, but to welcome a fresh chapter in her journey. Life frequently overlooks the subtle resilience of those who watch, persevere, and respond when the moment calls for it. Evelyn's tale serves as a poignant reminder that the most unlikely individuals can spark significant transformation. If her journey resonated with you, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more narratives that highlight the strength of resilience and the pursuit of justice.